Hello again, new project. I'm going to try a planned pour. I'm going to shoot for doing an agate style pour, so that's a lot of ribbon stuff. I'm not sure that I'm going to do a dirty ribbon agate pour. I think I might just lay down each of the colors. Obviously the materials I'm using are all here. These are on 50% off massive sale, which is why I bought them. I'm using 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and about half a part to a part of water to get them to a good consistency. I'm putting them in this big bin because it's a 12-inch pour. Now, one thing that you know when you pour, whatever moves this way, that's going to get squished. So you've got your paint, so whatever's on this end is going to get squished. Whatever's here that you're moving away from is going to stretch and spread. So with an agate pour, you're kind of looking for some banding, so that I realize when whatever color I lay down here is going to thin out, and all the other colors are going to continue stretching relative to the edge of the liquid. Anything on this band of the liquid is going to compress and become thinner. So I'm probably going to be putting gray and white here, and gray and white here in a large band, and then the other, I'll alternate the blue, the turquoise, and gray across in between those 2 large bands and see what we come up with. Okay, again, this is the canvas from my last video, the 12 by 12, how much paint does it take? See, it's not super loose. It's been stretched and re-stretched by the fluid I poured on it. I am using fresh gloves because I'm hoping this will come out a nice pour. Pretty much every pour I do is in front of the camera because I don't want to waste either one, and I don't have a lot of resources to be wasting either one. So what you see is what I am actually doing and what I've done. I've only got maybe 1 painting, which is curing right now, which was not done in front of the camera. So everything you see is all I do. So that said, enough of that. Let us move on. Like I said, I'm going to start with white, and I'm going to pour it. I guess it would have been better in a squeeze bottle, maybe. You have a little bit more control over a squeeze bottle. I'm going to be trying to capture any of my drippings. We've got a lot of bubbles here that hopefully won't affect this like it would a regular pour. When you get all those pinprick little holes in your canvas, it's a combination of the bubbles getting into the cells or the stitching of the canvas, as well as having tiny bubbles in your paint. Getting rid of those is hard here anyways. I've tried the torch and it doesn't seem to work a whole lot. I've tried everything, even letting them sit overnight, and come out and there's still tiny bubbles. So haven't solved that problem. It's kind of warm in the garage here today, so that could be a big mistake because it will affect my paints and the results I get. Can you see that? Let's see. Okay, so I'm afraid this is going to be long. Feel free to hit fast forward. I won't hold it against you, because you know I'd be doing the same thing. Yeah, I think a squeeze bottle might actually be a better way to go, just like I said, because you'll have a little bit more control over the quantity of paint and how the bead is laid down. The reason that might be important is because the weight of the paint is going to make the other subsequent bands bow in accordance, because of, you can see it's thicker, so that's going to have more weight as I move it away from the end towards the others. Okay, sorry this is going to be long. Forgive me, or fast forward. See, that's a little thin. I'm going to come back and hopefully not. I can't see what I'm doing. That's always helpful. So we've got a fairly thick bead. I'm not going to freak out about drops and drips. So you can manipulate as you go. Remember, we're not moving yet, so it's okay. Now I think I'll go for a blue. And then I'm gonna shift it just to show you what I mean by things squish. Looks like I don't have matching viscosity, even though I tried. Boy, did I try. Now comes the turquoise. Who doesn't love turquoise, right? Well, I guess a lot of people don't. Doesn't really matter. Anyways, it is hot as heck. It is summertime here in California. So it's warm. It doesn't matter if you're in northern or southern. I am not in southern. I am in northern, which probably is kind of obvious by some of the words I use that may or may not be slightly different than the typical, stereotypical Southern California words. I don't use rad too often though. Although it is still in my vocabulary, forgive me. Okay, now let's show you the example of what I mean by it's going to stretch. First I'm going to roll my paint. Roll my paint for continuity. Now of course I can, well, come back to that. So I don't know, can you see that? So see, the white and the gray are stretching again because we had bulges in our paint, and see the blue is now overtaking the turquoise. Now you can semi-remedy that by bringing it back. One thing about this painting style is nothing is guaranteed. So it's not super controllable, but you can work towards controlling some of the elements. And look at that, the turquoise has stretched again, and now the white is being compressed. And because it is warm in here, it's seizing up pretty quick. So you want your paint to be able to flow off the edge of the canvas, so it needs lubrication, so to say. And that actually is not a California-ism. That I picked up from Swedes when I worked with a bunch of Swedes at a major telecom company so long ago in a galaxy far, far away, when they actually were more of a Swedish company than a greedy American company. And names will not be shared. Okay, so not getting an agate effect because, like I said again, the weight of my bead when I dropped it was off. So I want it to continue moving. In order to keep it moving, we've got to keep things slick. So this will be interesting because I haven't tried this technique before. Like I said, what you're seeing is what I'm doing. And the result I'm getting. Just another tool for the toolbox. You usually can't have too many, well, you can't have too many tools, that's for sure. Clutter up a garage real quick, right? Okay, now it doesn't have to be highly structured. I'm just trying to do a structured. Yes, it'll go over the gray. You can help the movement somewhat. So I'm not really happy with how it's coming out. So, what you're allowed to do if you don't like something is find a I guess Cheadle does this quite frequently actually. I watch him, I'm just like, oh my god, I could never do that, and so I haven't been, so let's try it. Let's try cutting our losses and moving on. So it can become a dirty pour. So agate aside, let's go for a dirty pour. Yeah, now I've got mud in my cup, but I don't really mind. Now if you wanted, you could find a way to make this scraping into something. I'm not going there today. It's hot. It's getting hotter by the minute. So we're going to just do a dirty pour. It was a great theory. Okay. Remember, whatever ends up at the bottom of your cup ends up on the top of your canvas. I would put some dimethicone or trimethicone in there, but I haven't been getting really good results lately, and it just leaves lumps under my canvas, which means I'm doing something wrong. It's probably the temperature more likely than anything else. Maybe this will be the best pour ever. Okay, hit my 8 ounces. So I know I have more than enough. It's about 1.5 inches from the top of the cup. It's probably a little bit more than 8 ounces. We know that 8 ounces covers a 12 by 12 with room to spare. Now, how shall I do it? Don't you love that? That is so pretty. I should take a picture, but then I'd have to like stop doing this and it won't work. Sorry, we're at 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and my promise of an agate pour did not happen. So let's see what happens here. I feel like this has got everything too close to the lens. Where are my dudes? Then I got my dudes. I love these little triangle things. You can get them at any hardware store. I don't need to name names. Y'all got a hardware store you go to most likely. Let's make sure that's wide enough for the canvas to fit. No. So we do a little testy test. Get our feet under us. Okay, so this is, oops, oh goodness, I've just got a silly mess going on here. Okay, so now I know I've got my feet under me, so to say. And I know my cup has been sitting. We'll do the little reveal. Okay, see, that's the cloud. That's the color that ended up on the bottom. I usually like to do, as you've seen, I like to take those ribbons and get them through the middle of the cloud. Come on. Again, these will stretch out and become really big, for better, for worse. Gonna lubricate those corners a little bit, corners and edges. We still have quite a bit in there that we could put down on the canvas if we so desired. Oh, let's put that aside. Okay, so I'm gonna try to kind of round it out rather than go straight out to the edges. Don't really want that weight there. Because see how it carries it over? And I'm wanting to be more rounded. I want to round it before I hit my edges. Yes, I might end up with a bit more zigzag motion than I'd like. Kind of getting things settled out, and this heat is killing the paint. I think it's slowing it up, and there's nothing I can put on top of the paint to make it faster except to add more paint and just paint over the top of the whole thing. Getting some neat action. Again, I don't want to go over the edges yet. I'm trying to retain some of my paint. Maybe the 8-ounce rule was inaccurate for this pour. I don't know, and it could be the heat. So I'm not trying to let it go off the edge yet. Stay. And I don't really want to do that either because that makes lines. But okay, we're there. I'm trying to control the paint. We're probably going to get some offage on that other end there. I want to get that ribbon into the corner if at all possible. So I think that would look really cool. So we're trying to guide that ribbon into the corner. Okay, we got it. We got it. So now we're starting to lose some paint off the edges. So now we're gonna look for stretching the paint down to the corners here. I am gonna have a lot more filling to do, which is okay. So I want to get it down this corner. Tilt. Come on, baby, you can do it. You got this. See, I'm paying attention to other places and not I'm not paying attention to here. And that's a common thing, and that's when you start losing control of things sometimes. Again, I'm gonna see if we can get it to go. I'm getting this excess because I'm going to use it on my corners or to fill in or whatever. Come on, baby, you can do it. Now I'm going to roll the paint because I want it to move. It's pretty thick. From when I feel it with my finger, I can feel that it's very thick, which lends itself to cracking. Okay, so now I'm going to patiently, oh so patiently, try to move stuff over to this end in this corner. I'm going to capture paint again as I go. Come on, baby, you can do it. You can do it. So this is where patience really does come in. Like it or not. Patience is the key to every accomplishment in life, right? Getting a lot of pour off here. We're getting a good agate type effect. So maybe this, I won't be lying if I put that in the title. I want some solid stuff so that when I pour over that corner, which looks like it's not going to fill. Come on, just the corner. All you got to do is a corner, and then the other corner on the other end, which will probably look busy if I use the salvage here. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. If I roll it now, it'll be too soon and it'll look flat probably. See, 8 ounces I guess is more than enough for any 12 by 12. I must be pulling at least half that back off, right? Okay, there you go. So now, we're not gonna try, well, let's see. I'm gonna fill this in later, but see if we roll this back. If we roll it back, I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to roll some of this paint back onto the canvas to get it to then flow back, because we're still needing to hit this other corner here, right? It'd be nice to have a little bit of variety, but not too manic of a variety there. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I want to... Why not risk it, huh? Okay. Not too zigzaggy, so that's a plus. Not too obvious, it's a pullover. A little obvious. I hate it when it's too obvious. Okay, stretch that puppy out. Stretch it out nicely so it looks not so obvious. Okay, I'm going to let it roll down a bit. It is totally possible to do a pour mindfully, but you know, then you have to weigh that corner. Do I keep it or do I let it go? Okay, I think I'm going to somewhat let it go. Then we've got this other corner I'm not a fan of. See this? This is where that backfill was for that corner. And it is now really, but the more you move it, the more zigzag potential. So what I think I'll do, I think I will, call it. So it is possible to pseudo-predict and think through your pours. Now this will continue moving I guess if I do it this way, it'll accomplish more of the movement I want it to make, which is to make this a little bit more subtle. I'm not thrilled with that. Rag. So that was 20 minutes. I am really sorry. I apologize. I don't usually go that long. So what you won't see is the final product, because I'm gonna let it do its drying at an angle. There you go. It's an agate pour of sorts. Close enough, right? You got the method, you got the technique. Yes, this is not visually interesting at this moment. If I use a embossing gun, it might become more interesting. So let's try that. Here goes the embossing gun. Not pulling anything out of that. Well, maybe. Maybe I'm lying. And I'm not applying it to the ribbon, but the ribbon's got a lot going on anyway. Okay, well there you go. I learned something new today. Hopefully, I know I did. And like I said, every video is literally as I'm learning this stuff. So I haven't done as many paintings as everyone else. Or as everyone else. Well, as many people on here, because they're pouring off camera as well as on camera. And I'm pretty much only pouring on camera. Yeah, because this stuff's not really cheap even when it's cheap. Once you get hooked, it's all over. So, yeah, I don't make any money off my YouTube channel, but at least I'm probably going to ask at some point. Enough said. Have a great day. Go try an agate technique. Tell me what your favorite agate technique is and who to follow for more tips and tricks. And in the meantime, have a wonderful day. Bye.